Now it's my turn to summarize the symposium part of the day, and I just want to remind everyone that the poster sessions and receptions will follow, so there will be more activities. But I just really thoroughly enjoyed all the talks, and I first want to really thank Anthony and the committee to pick such a fascinating topic. I think as learning and memory is just such a amazingly interesting, unique question for the neuroscience field. I teach undergrads, and this is the learning and memory lecture is always the one that they just sort of get them thinking, and their eyes are wide open, unlike some of the other lectures. And so I think it's because it is a fascinating question, right? It's, it is any animals with a nervous system do some form of learning and memory. And from a cell biology point of view, I'm a cell biologist. This seems to be, performing this complex task of learning and memory is unique to the nervous system. Other cells cannot do it. So it's really sort of intrinsically, it's the holy grail of neuroscience to some extent. And secondly, it's an extremely difficult question, right? As you have heard, I want to use Sheena's words, and the substrate of learning and memory is our big bad brain, right? If without really understanding the brain, we cannot ultimately understand a memory. It is a very important question. You heard from Beth's talk, right? That it affects human. It affects many of us, if not us yet, our parents, and we've seen them. So, and it's also an extremely open question. And as you have seen, that there are many questions that are still as fascinating as the engrams. That's still at the level of cells, right? As Sheena pointed out, that there are the synaptic level of engram. Those cells that when they get stimulated, when they light up, it's their upstream inputs that is making them do that. So there's also, it's connecting to a lot of the physiology work that many of us here, or the field in general, has been doing, LTP, synaptic plasticity, and how that ultimately plays into the engram is completely open. There's so many open questions. So thank you for putting together such a fascinating program. And the other thing that I learned is that when we're trying to deal with a question that is this complex and difficult, different expertise and different systems are absolutely required. And you cannot see that better than today's program, right? It started with humans, right? Leila's talk on humans really take full advantage of how our communication skills and the very sophisticated behaviors that we can take with the help of fMRI to really show the transfer of energy, of memory from the hippocampal system to all over the cortex, right? And then, but with the monkeys, with the talk from Nicole Rust, right, we can see that with the ability to record from monkeys, and then you can really start to dig into the very sort of detailed what features of the memory is being transferred, is formed at what level within the brain system. But of course, the fascinating talk from David Foster showed us the unparalleled resolution of the place cells, and with that kind of spatial and temporal resolution, and the fascinating sort of nature of how the same cells could be toggling through different systems to coupling to reward and to report where the animal is with the environment. And of course, without the sufficiency experiment that Sheena talked about, everything is correlative. So right, and then so being able to artificially activate and inhibit specific neurons in a paradigm really allows us to be sure about what we're studying, whether these signals are correlative or actually driving the behavior. So, and that of course also uses a ton of molecular techniques that has been benefited from the greater molecular biology and cell biology field. So I think the theme here is that to tackle a question of this magnitude, we really need people to come together and to people with different expertise, with different experimental systems, and then to communicate to the level to really borrow from each other's expertise to make progress. And that is exactly the sort of the mentality, the way that we think in Tsai Neuroscience Institute. Okay, so I hope that I'm sure I will be left with full of wonderful memories at the end of the day. And I want to, again, thank all the speakers for wonderful presentations. Thank you. So I also want to thank the staff members without whom this symposium would not have been possible. And I actually see most of the staff members of the Institute here within, at least around the symposium. Tim, Zulama, Amy, Ipshita, Ali, Natasha, Philippe, Alina, Kathy, George, Maritza, Nick, and Joe. And in particular, I want to thank Ipshita Ghosh and Jill Wenzel, and they really put this events together. Thank you so much. Yes, and Donna Broven, our event manager. So please, Ipshita and Donna. Okay, I also want to thank the Likashing Center staff, including Melissa Hego and Kyle Quintoriano, and our photographer, Sam Fontijon, and the Stanford video staff. Thank you. Am I going to have the slides on? Sure, that would be great. Okay, so now it wouldn't be right without thanking our funding director, Bill Newsom. Thank you, Bill. And just a little bit of history. Bill launched this Neuroscience Institute, Tsai Institute, in 2013. At the beginning, it was just Bill, Tanya Rasky, and Kathy Lau. Right, but at the very, I think the institute was really Bill's vision, and then it was all of Bill's doing. So, from the get-go, Bill set the goal that the institute is here to understand the brain and the mind in health and disease, and it's also from the very beginning that Bill believed that we cannot do this alone. We have to pull everyone. To use what is a collective genius of Stanford to really conquer this task. So Bill has really been instrumental in setting up the institute, not in a particular school, but between the schools, and then strategically picking the location of the institute to be sort of right in the middle, even geographically within the campus, the university campus. So that I thought was a brilliant move, and thanks, Bill, for doing that. And so the way that he did it is that for the first year or so, he set up all these meetings to meet with the local scholars and then discuss about what they need and what exactly the institute can do for them. And there was a famous series of dinners where Bill brought a neurologist, bioengineers, a radiologist, a psychiatrist, and many more people with different expertise and disciplines to those dinners, and where the discussions about what are the opportunities really arise. So many of these people really have not been in the same room before. So this has really sort of gelled people together and really brought some ideas into fruition. So looking at what Bill has achieved over the years, the Institute has recruited more than 500 affiliates. These are people, many of us were here already, but then there are new recruits into the Institute as well. And this represents faculties from all 7 Stanford schools and more than 50 departments. And the Institute has also hired 6 innovative and collaborative faculty scholars, which works in the intersections between biology, engineering, and psychology and theory. And the Institute has launched and supported more than 60 research projects through grant programs focused on neuroscience discovery, engineering, and clinical applications, and has supported over 100 trainees from undergrads to postdoc scientists as part of our mission to cultivate the next generation of neuroscience. And we have a beautiful building that Bill has been instrumental in putting all the plans, detailed plans together. Now the building houses the Institute's office and also 20 collaborative research labs spanning basic neuroscience, engineering, clinical impact, and neuroscience theory. And the building also houses the neuroscience community laboratories. Bill has also overseen the launch of our Diversity, Inclusion, Belonging, Equity, and Justice Committee. And the committee has worked tirelessly and creatively to ensure that all of our community members can thrive in this environment. And most recently, Bill has helped to bring in the new Knight Initiative of Brain Resilience, which also houses within the facility. So, and Bill is also a very caring and leader. So not only did he care about the science, but he also really cares about his staff and the scientists within the Institute. And he apparently a very good dancer. After seeing this picture, I thought I need to really sign up for some dancing lessons. And he really cared about the staffs and really made sure that he established this basically set the tone for the Institute that we're not here, we're all about our people. So thank you, Bill. And I've been working with Bill in the last month or so, ever since I became the director, and I have to say that Bill has been incredibly inspiring, and I know that there's a huge shoes to fill, but it's truly genuinely inspiring. What else do I? Oh, so Bill has outside of science, neuroscience, Bill is a very talented photographer. And these are some of the beautiful pictures of African safari and the Icelandic sceneries. So beautiful. So for all of the things you have done for us, Bill, for the Institute, and now I'd like to present you with what I heard, a very heavy plaque. Beautiful. Sort of like the Super Bowl. Yeah, it's great. It's very nice.
My 7-year-old daughter is into jewels and gems right now, and she'll be very, very impressed with this. We appreciate it. So thank you, Kang, for the extraordinarily kind words, and thanks to all of you. The Institute is not really about buildings. It's not really about grant programs per se. It's not really about hires. It's really about all of you and the work you do in the laboratories. Without the science, the Institute's a mere shell. So the science is foremost, and all of you are foremost in my mind when I think about the Institute. Kang has been extraordinarily generous in his remarks, but it's a little bit deceptive because Bill didn't do this and this and this and this and this. Bill had lots of help from many other people, and too many really to name in a setting like this. But we have to give credit, I think a lot of credit, to John Hennessy and John Etchemendy and Ann Arvin, who were the president, provost, and dean of research when this institute was founded. And they put up the resources to make it start, and they took the risk to see if we could do something world-class in this area here at Stanford. And they have been succeeded by a new wave of administration that have also been supportive: Mark Tessier-Levine, Persis Drell, and Cam Moeller. And I really could have not done anything without their collaboration. We've also had extraordinary faculty help, mostly in the form of the executive committee, people who have really worked. You've seen some of the work today. Anthony Wagner is currently on the executive committee and took responsibility for organizing this really wonderful symposium today. But the executive committee faculty have been wonderful. Our senior advisory committee built up within the university has been wonderful. The development team has been extraordinary. Almost everything we've been able to deliver to the community here has been the result of philanthropic funds and funds that Stanford put up to seed us and start us. And I've had the great privilege of working with Mara McGinnity and Emily Shimizu, who I see is back here today, and they've been extraordinarily helpful. We're forever indebted, of course, literally forever indebted to Clara Wu and Joe Tsai, who gave the naming gift for the Institute. But I want to acknowledge my own personal debt to Fred and Stephanie Harmon, who are sitting here, who I hold the Harmon family provostial chair. And that chair was given by Fred and Stephanie when I agreed to take on this job. At the time, I was an HHMI investigator, like Kang, and it was risky somewhat to devote this much of my time to administration, and to have that chair and the guaranteed funding that lay behind it was really enabling. I literally would not have been able to take the job without that. So Fred and Stephanie, thank you so much. As Kang has said, the WuSci staff have been wonderful. I wish Tanya were here. I mean, she labored at my side. We labored shoulder to shoulder, for 9.5 years. At the beginning, it was, I was like a deer in the headlights. I had no idea what I was doing. People were besieging me right and left, and Tanya just said, "What's your top priority, Bill?" And she rolled up her shoulders and went to work on it. And WuSci will be forever in her debt, even though she's no longer with us here. But the present staff are fantastic, and I have enjoyed working with all of them. And I just close by saying I like the tagline for our symposium here: remembering the past and imagining the future. I am totally convinced that the best future of neuroscience at Stanford is in front of us, not in the past. It's wise to remember the past because, as the saying goes, if we don't remember the past, we're doomed to repeat its mistakes. And there have been mistakes along the way. There are things that I would change. There always are in human life, right? So let's remember the past, but let's go to the future, imagining that the best is in front of us, which I think is true. Kang has hit the ground with his feet and arms pumping. He's learning at a really rapid pace right now, and the staff are here to support, and I'm here to support. And that's one of the greatest things about this, is that I'm confident we're handing off this institute in really great shape to a new set of leadership that includes Kang and includes the staff and includes Tony Wiskare and the staff that he is hiring, Natasha Hussain. The best is in front of us. So let's just go for it. And I'm here to help.